ọ̀pọ̀ èèyàn tí ẹ bá pè èèyàn pé lágbájá ẹni ẹ dákọ rẹ̀ kí á lonítọ̀hún ọwọ́ ẹ̀yìn wò. orúkọ rere lágbájá mo fẹ́ kọ́ mọ́ yí ọ ni o wípé orúkọ ìdílé yín tó ń jẹ́ mọ́jì ọ́ bàjẹ́ torí pé kì í ṣèwọ nìkan ló lórúkọ àtìrandíran yín ni wọ́n ń pè bẹ́ẹ̀. àmọ́ bọ́ọ̀bá jẹ́ ọ́ bàjẹ́ ó lè mú yan gàn láwùjọ. mọ́ parọ́ mọ́ jalè mọ́ hùwà àbàjẹ́ mọ́ ká so ohun gbogbo létòlétò. Ògúnyẹmí tí gbogbo ayé ń pè mí orúkọ bàbá mi ni. ó ti kú ọjọ́ ti gọ n ò tí ì dáyé tó ti ja wàhálẹ̀. àmọ́ ìgbà táwọn ará iwájú òjò bàjẹ́ lèmi gan pàáfi yọ pọ́líìsì tí mò ń tunkùn nígbà gbogbo kọ́ mọ́ dán gbinrin. ṣé bẹ́ẹ̀ rí bí gbogbo ayé ṣe ń bá mi gbé lárugẹ kò ní tọwọ́ mi bàjẹ́ ọ̀dọ̀wọ́ gbogbo ọmọ tó tún ń bọ̀ lẹ́yìn. orúkọ rere bọ́mọ ọba àdaràn níṣẹ́ ló kọ ìwọ ni ọtọ́jú ó kọ ìdílé yín kọ́mọ̀ bá bàjẹ́ kó lè ṣe mú yan gàngbà. orúkọ rere ní mú ní rọ́mọ àdúgbò fẹ́ wọ́n ní irú ìran wo ìran wọn ṣẹ́ni re ni bí wọ́n bá ti rẹ́ni sẹ̀rí ọ̀rọ̀ káyọ̀ ó di tolúwa rẹ̀ lókù. lágbájá àní òye hùwà àbàjẹ́ mọ́ torí òní kọ́ torí ọ̀la àwọn ọmọ rẹ ni bókọ bá ti bàjẹ́ kéyìí ó tó kú àwọn ọmọ jẹ́ kísà nínú ìyà. orúkọ rere ọ̀sánjú wúrò ń fàdákà lọ ẹni tí ń mugbó àbí ń lu jìbìtì kọ̀kọ̀kọ̀ ìdílé wọn mọ́ bàjẹ́ apamọ́lẹ́kọ̀jayé fìríǹdì ọ̀kẹ́ alọ́kólóhùn ó fi gbé bọ́nú bókọ bá lè bàjẹ́ kọ́ bàjẹ́ wọn ò rí tó kọ ìdílé rò. ẹlòmíì àdébì kan àwọn èèyàn bẹ̀ ó sì máa ṣe ṣùṣù rárá bọ́bá jẹ́sẹ́ lonítọ̀hún wá tọ́ba ti jẹ́ ẹni tí ó kọ ìdílé rẹ̀ dá tẹ́lẹ̀ kíá ni wọ́n máa gbà á síbẹ̀. àmọ́ bí wọ́n bá dákọ ẹlòmíì èpè làwọn èèyàn tó wà ń bẹ̀ ọ́ bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí í ṣẹ́ bọ́bá ṣe pẹ́ni tó ti kú ni wọ́n á ní àkútókù olúwa rẹ̀ ó dìgbà. hùwà tó dálẹ̀ kó o tó kú ohun abáṣe lónìí ìtàn ló máa dàbọ̀ bá dọ̀la. ẹjẹ́ aṣayé eré ó kọ rere lẹ́ẹ̀bá já fi ilẹ̀ ká tó kú nítorí wọn ti ń bọ̀ lẹ́yìn. mẹ́lòmíì bá pé ẹ káàárọ̀ àwọn èèyàn ó sì kọ́kọ́ lọ rèé wò ta kọ́mọ̀jẹ́pá ti wà lóru àbí ẹni asọ̀rọ̀ rẹ̀ tá a tọ́lẹ̀ lálé lórí béèyàn ọ̀bá bá bẹ́ẹ̀ a sì máa dunni jojú ọgbẹ́ lọ. bọ́ọ̀ bá dákọ ẹlòmíì ń bì kan gbogbo ń tọ́ ọba ń fẹ́ ló sì rí gbà. orúkọ rere má jẹ́ kó kọ rẹ̀ ó bàjẹ́ lágbájá. ó mú mi rántí orin tá a máa ń kọ nílé ẹ̀kọ́ ńgbà tá a wà ń kéke wípé ẹni tó bá ti jalè lẹ́ẹ̀kan ṣoṣo bọ́ bá dàrán borí aṣọ olè lọ́dà bóra ẹ̀wù olè lọ́wọ́ sọ́rùn fìlà olè lóde sórí bàtà olè lọ́wọ́ sẹ́sẹ̀ lákìjan alákìtìjan lákìjan o alákìtìjan lákìjan alákìtìjan. orúkọ ṣe pàtàkì mọ́jì ọ́ bàjẹ́ ń tá a bá ṣe lónìí ìtàn ló máa dàbọ̀ bá dọ̀la. ìyẹn ogún ọdún a máa jóyàn lọ ó kọ rere sí lọ jẹ́ pàtàkì. ṣé bẹ́ẹ̀ rántí àwọn olóṣèlú orúkọ Awólọ́wọ̀ ìsìn ní gbogbo ayé fi ń polongo bí wọ́n bá ń sọ̀rọ̀ ẹ̀kọ́ ọ̀fẹ́ ìpínlẹ̀ Ọ̀yọ́ ò lè gbàgbé Bọ́lá Gèpín ó kọ rere ní ọlọ́run 1930 tí gbogbo ayé ń pariwo. iṣẹ́ ìyanu tí Babalọ́lá ṣe tó jí òkú dìde ni òkú àbẹ̀wò ọjọ́ kẹta tó tún padà já láàyè forúkọ rere sílẹ̀ kó o tó kú. bọ́ọ̀ bá sí láyé mọ́ ń tá a bá gbáyé ṣe náà ní gbogbo èèyàn ọmọ rí sọ. mọ́ báyé jẹ́ mọ́ bọ̀nà jẹ́ kó o tó kú ó kọ re sí lọ jẹ́ pàtàkì. ayé kì í yé ní gbà rèwerèwe àgbà kì í yé ní láì tí ì dàgbà. ǹjẹ́ tá a bá dàgbà tá a dògbó kálí ọ̀sán wà ńlàdúrà àti ẹja máa tọrọ ọ̀tọ̀lẹ́jà ológùrò ó dá mi lójú pé owó ẹja òjò owó ẹja ọ̀tọ̀ lórí. Fẹ́mi Ògúnyẹmí rèé ọmọ wọn lélẹ́rú ẹni tí gbogbo ayé ń pè lólógùrò alẹ́ kí àbàjá mọ́ bù alówó làmọ́kọ èdìdà tó ti lé mọ̀ kí wọ́n á ní mí ọmọ akúnlẹ̀ képèdùmarè.
From the city of Ibadan, the home of ancient warlords, in the Pacesetter state, this is Oluyole FM 98.5 Ibadan.
23 minutes to 7, right here on Oluyole 98.5 FM. Up next is the program Conversation.
Conversation.
Yes, a very good morning. Still very much on Oluyole 98.5 FM on the stables of the Broadcasting Corporation of Oyo State. Welcome you to Conversation, where we bring you stories making the major headlines in the dailies. We do our best to give you top-notch analysis, and in due course we get to open the phone lines. You also get to be a part of the flow. We share our thoughts, views, and opinions regarding those major headlines as reported by the dailies, Mondays to Saturdays, except Sundays. We are here, and that is what we do on Conversation. That's why the program is called Conversation. And like I said, what you'll be hearing from us, our thoughts, views, and opinions, not the corporate views of the Broadcasting Corporation of Oyo State. Anywhere you are listening across the world, you are welcome to the program. My name is Tola Teriba. Going straight to the major headlines in the dailies this morning, and I'm reading from the Nigerian Tribune. It says here, Delta Governor meets President Tinubu, Senate President Akpabio, National Human Rights Commission weigh in on killing of 17 military men. That's talking about the Okwama incidents in Delta State. And we have riders. We never bargain for what happened, says Oborevori. That's the governor of Delta State. And killers of soldiers may be mercenaries. That's coming from Senate President Godswill Akpabio. Well, Mr. Akpabio might appear to know certain things that we don't. Probe the killings, National Assembly tells armed forces. National Human Rights Commission calls for prosecution of culprits. So that's an update on the situation regarding the incidents, the events in Okwama, the unfortunate events in Okwama, Delta State. And troops rescue 16 kidnapped victims in Kaduna. Well, commendable, but the soldiers, the security agencies could still do better. There are still hundreds in the captivity of the terrorists, especially the school children, and Nigerians would like to wake up to news that those children especially have been rescued, and then the other 87 that were recently kidnapped, and every other innocent person in the captivity of these evil men. Troops rescue 16 kidnapped victims in Kaduna. And we also have Kanu distances self from violence in Southeast. And it wasn't a particularly good day for Mr. Nnamdi Kanu, the leader of the IPOB in Southeast Nigeria, as the court rejected his bail plea. He has been in the custody of the DSS for a considerable length of time. And yesterday, Mr. Kanu was requesting that he should be moved to Kuje prison from DSS custody. Well, many people, including myself, wondered why, because we believe that perhaps the DSS custody would be more comfortable than being in prison. But then Mr. Kanu is alleging that he said he doesn't feel safe anymore in DSS custody, and he's alleging a threat to his life. So detained leader of the proscribed indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB, Nnamdi Kanu, has dissociated himself from the violence in the southeastern part of the country, and the IPOB leader vowed that those behind the violence leading to the killing of their fellow brothers and sisters and burning of property under the guise of being IPOB members would not be spared. So how would he deal with them from detention? Kanu told newsmen this on Tuesday, immediately after the Federal High Court in Abuja denied him bail on charges bordering on terrorism slammed against him by the federal government. He noted that the violence persisted because he was being held in the custody of the DSS, and said if released, there would be peace in the entire southeast region of the country. Oh, I see. So, well, he said anybody committing crime cannot go free. I saw it. Anybody committing crime in the southeast cannot go free. They are doing it because I am in DSS custody. If I were to be outside, nobody can try that. So he's trying to give the government an assurance that he would be able to stop the ongoing unrest in southeast Nigeria if he were to be released. He's giving that assurance, and well, I don't know. Well, the security agencies, the government, they probably know more than we do. They see more than we see. So If we are wondering that, okay, why not give this a try? Why not actually release him with a bargain that you would be of good behavior and you would help stop the violence in the southeast, either by persuasion or coercion. But then, like I said, perhaps the government and the authorities and the judiciary, who are the arbiters in this case, are seeing things we are not seeing, and that is why they are still keeping him in detention, despite those assurances that he could bring peace back to the southeast if released. Well, let the due process and the rule of law be followed in all this. And Mr. Kano has also alleged that the DSS operatives are infringing on his fundamental rights by interfering with his conversations with his lawyers and family members. IPOB leader Kano distances himself from violence in southeast. Okay. And Edo politics now. Impeachment. Edo Assembly directs CJ to constitute panel to probe deputy governor. And maybe late yesterday, and the chief judge of that state was still saying that no letter had been received in that regard from the state assembly, but maybe there could have been developments. Impeachment. Edo Assembly directs CJ to constitute panel to probe deputy governor. And Edo State House of Assembly on Tuesday moved a step further the ladder of the impeachment process against the deputy governor, Comrade Philip Shaibu, as it directed the state chief judge, Justice Daniel Okunboa, to set up a panel of 7 wise men to investigate the allegations of gross misconduct leveled against the deputy governor. The assembly gave the directive via a resolution passed during plenary session as a furtherance to the impeachment process it initiated against the embattled deputy governor penultimate week. So now these allegations of gross misconduct, is it the same as was initially preferred against him, and then a peace process was initiated between the deputy governor and his principal governor, Governor Obaseki, and that particular process was dropped? So is it that it is that same, those allegations that have been dusted again and retrieved from the bookshelf, and the books have been reopened, or are this, as the deputy governor committed fresh offenses, as he committed fresh infractions, and that is what the lawmakers now want to look into? Well, I guess those questions would be answered in the days ahead. And we also have federal government, states, local government shared 10.143 trillion naira in 2023, and that's coming from NATI. Okay, that's talking about the economy now. And 4.1 billion property fraud. EFCC recovers, hands over 324 houses to Kano pensioners. And on constitutional review, reps to meet governors, leaders of 18 political parties. Others, that's as Governor Adeleke of Osun State moves to change Osun logo. 6 assemblies approval. I'm sure why is the governor changing the state logo? And
wala. Wonders you never sees.
Is it because that logo was designed by the government under another political party?
You see, charade, unintelligent display, sometimes frivolities, and sometimes it's not about want.
Sure, it could have its reasons.
It's not about want or necessity.
Maybe he wants to make it
it's
more
just
beautiful.
about wish. You just wish some things occur because you were opportune to have certain powers and privileges. You just wanted to show that class that I'm now in charge. You want everything to be attributed to you. Not that some of these things are really developmental. They are just for aggrandizement, self-aggrandizement sometimes. You embellish it in your own pattern just to have a history attached to it, so that when that thing is being mentioned, you have your name attached and they mention it. And how does that translate to improved standard of living of the people that you are governing? Well, sometimes that's the manner at which some of our leaders behave, and it's unfortunate. They leave the substance, chase shadows, frivolities, and misplaced priority sometimes, and you wonder, I'm not being particular to any politician or leader, but you understand what I'm talking about. We have our plights, we have our challenges, we have myriads of problems that requires urgent attention and solutions, but they ignore those challenges and plights. They look the other way.
I read through this story, Seun, and I was trying to look for a reason given by the government.
Which of the story?
The one about the wanting to change the Osun State logo.
Okay, we have gone back to that.
By Governor Adeleke.
Okay. And, so what's the big deal about that one?
Well, I tried to look for a reason, and there was none. And I'm wondering, why is no one asking questions? Fine, he could want to change the logo, and he could have his reasons for wanting to change the logo, but why is no one asking, Your Excellency, why do you think this is necessary? Because I'm saying this because I have my fears that perchance another government that is not PDP gets to rule Osun State in the near future. Maybe that government too will see reason to change the logo again. And
change the name of the state too. Initially, ab initio, ever since it was created, known, recognized duly by the Constitution as Osun State. Osun State. Later on, not too late,
someone came and said
State of Osun.
And that was unknown to the Constitution. That was unknown to the
I don't know if it's an aberration or
it is
illegality. And someone came again, reverted to Osun State.
The name that is known to the Constitution.
Now someone is trying to change the logo, trying to change this, trying to change the motto. Okay. And that comes at a cost. It's not that you just change the logo without any budgetary allocation or money allotted for such purpose. Well, maybe Osun State is so rich, financially buoyant now, that they have a new sheriff in town. Recently I also read that about 1 billion naira was used to renovate or had some furnitures to the governor's lodge or office. Well, it's not for the current governor's usage alone. Successive ones would also use it. So the money is there. Change it if you want to, even if you don't have any logical reasons for that, even if it's not really necessary at this time. Is that the most pressing of issues? Well, I don't know. I'm not in Osun State, but I know Osun State is not far from Oyo State. In fact, I live very close to the boundaries of the two states, and I could see for myself certain things that requires urgent attention in the lives of many people in that state, especially the ones that share boundary with us in Oyo. If you ask them, it could cost you. If you tell them what do you want or what is your urgent need, is it for me to change your state logo or whatever, or give you certain things? They could beat you if you offer to change the whatever without addressing their plights. So what is a priority to me may not be a priority to you, Tola. Yours could be misplaced one. Mine could be, based on self-aggrandizement. So it's on perception, and perspectives differs.
Right, let's have this commercial break and we'll be back.
One man with the power to thwart death must face the consequence of his actions, because even power comes at a cost.
Oyo has been beset by the Akala bird.
Saru, you owe a debt. You must return to undo your actions.
Now, he must rely on unlikely allies.
You have 3 years.
And face new enemies.
Saru must be found and back
Watch Anikulapo Rise of the Spectre. Now streaming on Netflix with plans starting from 1,600 Naira only.
Hello, property owners in Oyo State. Have you heard about OYPRS app? You need it. Download OYPRS app right away. It simply means Oyo State Property Reference System. OYPRS app helps you to retrieve your property identification number on the go. This means you will be able to pay your land use charges and other property related bills seamlessly. Go to Play Store or Apple Store on your mobile device. Download and install OYPRS app. Sign up with your preferred email, phone number, and password. Please turn on your location for easy access. After that, log in with your email and password and follow the easy process. With this, you will be able to get your property details without any difficulty. It's a smart property identification service brought to you by Ministry of Lands, Housing and Urban Development, Oyo State. For more information, log on to www.oyprs.ng or call 0700 696 52637.
Conversation.
I'm glad to know you are still there and the program is still Conversation.
You can also change your own look, Tola, if you like.
So you are trying to preempt what would be in the new Osun State logo and then
dancers now or are they drummers?
Atilo good dancers. Oh,
I'm just.
Oh, sure.
I'm not too sure. I'm just guessing.
Well, dancing well also part of our culture. Maybe traditional dancers, bata, that's the rhythm of the bata drums.
Okay.
But why did you think of dancing?
You said it's part of our culture.
Oh.
Yes. I know Osun people can dance very well.
And
same for Oyo, the entire southwest.
And the leader is also can also dance very well.
If you have legs, why not? You can dance now. Right. You could draw inspiration from your leader or leaders. Who dances as if they have no worries.
Well, I'm not sure I remember the exact details of the logo that is about to be changed. I don't know if the dancers are there, so maybe that's what is missing.
Tola, I want to change my look. How is that a problem to you?
Oh.
Is it your money I will use? Even if it's your commonwealth, I am in charge. That's the way I want to spend the money.
We're just trying to wonder what is wrong with the logo currently in use, and
government is continuing.
Maybe it's dancing that is missing.
You inherit certain things. You just allow some things to the status quo to remain. You could add for developmental purpose. It's not all the time you change whatever your what do you call it, predecessor does. No, do your own. Make your own legacies known, and when others come, it continues that way. You are not to dismantle but to add up to what has been built in the past, irrespective of political affiliation. Just that some of these things were done in bad faith, like I said, aggrandizement, wanting to attach your name, your face to certain things that are not really significant or needed as at the time they were created. It's just a matter of wish, not want, not a necessity at that point. And it shows the level of, the cerebral nature of some of these people. You wonder if they are really, anyway, there is no wahala. Okay. I'm not referring to, you understand, okay. I'm just talking generally, sometimes you expect wisdom from certain quarters and you see the opposite. It's normal, and it could be a slip, occasional one. Not that they don't have any brain at all, but there could be a skip or slip at a particular period.
But of course, you are not referring to anyone in particular.
Not even governors that you but they could be part of our leaders though, but not anyone in particular. It's a general thing. As individuals, we have our own period of derailing. It could just be for a short while. There is a moment of madness. So it occurs. But just that where you intend to go astray or mistakenly offer to go astray, if you have good minds around you, they have to tell you in clear terms the truth and put you back on track. Say, Oga, hey, you are derailing, no. Hello, Turu, hello, Daro. If you have good advisors and friends around you, it's a general principle.
And moving on, reps urge federal government to criminalize importation of Adire Kampala, other locally produced fabrics. And they said they wanted to protect the local cottage industries and conserve foreign exchange in the country. And I say, if they want to achieve this, they should talk to themselves first. They are the ones that wear the imported Adire and the Kampala. They are the ones that can afford them. They are the ones that would leave the local automobile manufacturers and start importing vehicles from overseas for their bulletproof vehicles, SUVs from overseas. And so I think if they want to criminalize this, probably they will be legislating against themselves as well. So I don't see this going anywhere. But then let's wait and see. Sure.
A number of things requires the rep's attention and legislation to be criminalized. You talk of budget padding, you talk of misapplication, misappropriation of funds, you talk of selfishness and wanting to corner everything. Or you believing that you are first-class citizen and others would live at your dictates and as you desire. It's only when you want them to live that they live. When you grab the bulk, you give the peanut or the remnants to others in their millions to feed on. It's unfortunate. Those attitudes should be criminalized too, and the reps can help us with that. Just that it will affect some of them.
Around 2023, Atiku NWC, that's the NWC, National Working Committee of the PDP, directed us to work for Rhodes Vivor's victory. That allegation is coming from the Lagos PDP Chairman's Forum. And Jandor is saying no such thing. Claim cooked up to justify anti-party activities. Jandor was the candidate of the PDP in the last elections, presidential elections.
It came a distant third.
Well, I guess PDP chairman now making revelations, opening can of worms here there. Okay, 5 to die for murder of Rivers vigilante commander. And Nigeria Air Force airstrikes a terrorist logistics storage in Niger.
Good one.
Good one. And they could still do better. This one, Seun. Reps issue 72 hours to Health Minister orders over $300 million anti-malaria alleged contract scam. Accuse civil servants of frustrating government's efforts. Says the House of Representatives on Tuesday summoned the Minister of Health and Social Welfare, Dr. Tunji Alausa, and Permanent Secretary over allegation bordering on illegal award of contracts worth $300 million for procurement of anti-malaria process. Chairman House Committee on AIDS, Tuberculosis and Malaria, Honorable Amobi Oga, who issued the notice during an investigative hearing into the petition issued by Seasons Law Firm on behalf of Rosie's Textile Mills Limited against the federal government, Federal Ministry of Health, for denying indigenous manufacturers of insecticide-treated nets from participating in the contract for the procurement of insecticidal nets and other related products. Now, what the committee, the House of Reps committee, is worried by the refusal of the permanent secretary to honor the 3 invitations sent by the committee. So they unanimously resolved to summon the minister, permanent secretary, and all the parties involved. Now, in his address, Oga observed that Nigeria borrowed $100 million from Islamic Bank, which was approved by the National Assembly in 2021. Out of the $100 million, $10 million was grants and another $200 million borrowed from World Bank in the same year for impact project malaria financing agreement, making it a total of $300 million. And the resolution by the National Assembly is that local content must be prioritized to enable local manufacturers. But the ministry went ahead to contract UNOPS to do the procurement process at the cost of over 300 million naira for the purchase of anti-malaria commodities.
Anti-malaria commodities for $300 million. Another biggie, another scam. We have a quick commercial break.
We'll come back to talk about this.
Friday, 22nd March 2024. Charles to perform life transforming tasks courtesy of His Excellency Governor Seyi Makinde, FNSC, GSA, GSSRS. Bamu Bamu Jigi Jigi. Gómìnà pẹ̀lú Anambra ọ̀jọ̀gbọ́n Charles Soludo CFR yóò kalẹ̀ ká fún àwọn àkànṣe iṣẹ́ amáyédẹrùn méjì ọ̀tọ̀ọ̀tọ̀ tí ìjọba omi tuntun tó ti gbé ṣe tó tún ṣe lọ́wọ́lọ́wọ́. The well executed, completed and delivered Agodi Gate Civic Center and Idiakwe Junction improvement works shall be commissioned at 10 a.m. Agodi Gate is the venue. Professor Charles Soludo shall flag off the road component of Senator Rashidi Adewolu Ladoja Circular Road, popularly called Ibadan Circular Road, at Badeku area of Ibadan Ife Expressway, Ibadan, at 1 p.m. Àjọṣe ọ̀tún títí Agodi Gate Civic Center àti kórìtà Díàpẹ́ láago 10 àárọ̀ ni. Kódà àjọ kọ̀wọ́ èrè bá dékú ni eyín ni lọ́nà òpó mọ́rọ̀ọ́sẹ̀ Ìbàdàn sílùú Ifẹ̀ níbi tí gómìnà ìpínlẹ̀ Anambra yóò ti fi iṣẹ́ òpó sákúlárò lọ́lẹ̀ láago kan ọ̀sán. Fún yẹn announcer Professor Dahoud Shagodoyin, the Honourable Commissioner for Works and Transport, Oyo State.
All right, we're back on the program. Is still conversation. 300 million anti-malaria alleged contract scam to be probed by the House of Representatives. Quick to beam the light on other people's rump. In conjunction with the Senate, addressed the weird, strange content, inconsistencies, and suspicious discoveries in the 2024 budget, which they went ahead to pass. $1 million anti-malaria alleged contract scam again. It's worrisome that nothing significant ever comes out of these elaborate programs and schemes for which it has been sourced externally across the various sectors of social and economic endeavor. You remember that show? Into which millions in external funds was also sunk. Malaria still remains a major killer in our country.
They now have what you call vaccines to perpetually deal with malaria and kill mosquitoes or make it ineffective when it bites you. But in Nigeria, when other African countries are even having their own dosage, and what do you call it, inoculation of the vaccine, malaria vaccine, in Nigeria is like a mirage. It's like an abomination to have a vaccine or have it in here. So it's better to spend on malaria commodities, anti-malaria drugs and nets and engage in scams and scandals and corrupt
and
practices.
That's also because rollback malaria, as with the $300 million anti-malaria contract, also went for the rocks. More recently, we had here Nigeria, and the list over the distant past and recent years is endless. Corruption everywhere and everything pockmarked with corruption. Now we seem to be fighting an endless war with malaria, which, like the war against terror, might probably never end. As for the permanent secretary, which who refused to honor 3 different summons, of course, probably he cannot honor the rep summon without authorization from a superior, who is the minister. But is it the current health minister that has a case to answer, that has to answer for this, or the one that was in charge in 2021? We are talking about a matter.
If they drag this one, he's going to confess or make statements or revelation that could indict the former. And if it requires inviting the former too, they do that. Let them start from somewhere.
Oh.
If you don't have skeleton in your cupboard, you come, you narrate your own side. If it's your predecessor that has skeleton in his or her cupboard, he or she will be called to come answer. Just Nigerian Air that later manifested to be Ethiopian Air or borrowed the airline. So people will have to answer questions.
And as for not awarding contracts to the indigenous farms or textile companies to produce insecticide treated nets, well, my personal opinion here, you know what happens often when these things are awarded to the indigenous contractors or companies, they end up making a mess of it. So maybe that was why the then minister did not trust the indigenous farms.
I have my reservations. I have my reservations and objection to that submission. No. You know, they give excuses. You give a contract to the local manufacturer or indigenous contractors. You issue a contract of, let's say, 3 naira subtotal, and you want naira, and you expect him to work $1 billion.
Who says the Oyinbos don't take kickbacks too? But even in spite of the kick,
deliver a job that is worth 2 billion and still make profit. How possible is that? How realistic is that project?
Then he should have backed out of the agreement.
So because shenanigan and corruption, they make that anything indigenous would never contracts.
He goes ahead to offer the
you registered a company 10 years ago. You are still begging, carrying files here and there to get a contract. You register with some money. You have your work for you. You secure loan to have the machines and other things required for that job. Play the game
in
the long run, when you've incurred losses and you are indebted to the banks and others that give you loan.
Why do you go ahead to be indebted to the banks? Because you are that money to already go when it is demanded.
Some of these contractors sometimes or most times is to give bribe or kickback before you get anything from government quarters or government projects.
I disagree. You offer the bribe because you want to, and because you are also corrupt yourself.
We know Boshe law. We know as they go.
Exactly.
They are the ones for the kickback. So the contractor maximize profit If you say no kickback, he's comfortable with that. Well, the contractors completely. Now we win. Now so the game we dey play am in this country. You chop, I chop.
They're supposed to offer kickbacks, mind you, and they do good jobs. It's people
good jobs too. What are you talking about? Mosquito treated net, insecticide. We can't produce that here in Nigeria.
Because it is our people.
Drugs, you have the other ones. You have the herbal. You have we sent you. So it's not something that is so difficult. We can do that locally because of you not completely. I've told you, not completely exonerating them, but I want you to decipher why it's convenient for this the ministry or others who give out contracts to international or foreigners, international companies, or they call them those who are foreigners who have invested whatever or registered companies in Nigeria, or they contract it out elsewhere. You know why? Because at least when I have come of age to know that this is what they call a mosquito treated net. Or whatever, even if it's state that so you lack supply of what is so the money goes nowhere. It goes into your pocket, and the one that is what you wrote, and you say the contractor that gives to you, or you rebuy, you relabel, you see like they are selling. So we can and come to think of it, $300 million for waiting the same intervention and the 300 million in the treatment of malaria.
No, I haven't.
If you maybe malaria should be completely free with that kind of intervention. Completely free. We are the ones getting the net because it's not sufficiently supplied. You go purchase, you get malaria drugs. You go for treatment, you pay. If it's malaria treatment, you pay. The constitutional and a responsibility to Nigerians to do the oversight function effectively. That I mentioned the other time. When you see, and when you look at the figure, 300, so, you wonder as even lawmakers say, these people are so, they are as huge as before we share, and now we could come back as for oversight function and tell you, come tell Nigerians how you expended this money. The corruption is deeply rooted. Meaning, a local is that the way to run a nation? If we fail to kill corruption, corruption will kill this country. It is already killing us. We have to fight it. Okay, let me take one or two headlines before we open the phone line. distances self from violence in Southeast. Court rejects his bail plea. In fact, he said if he is released today, peace be still, there will be peace and tranquility in the southeastern part of the nation. On Constitution review, reps to meet governors, the leaders of 18 political parties, and others. We open the phone line 0805 500 9850. Hello, good morning to you. We lost that call. We shall be back after this commercial break.
àdìlà rẹ ni o sì ní ìkànsíra ẹni mọ́ o ní lè ṣe okòwò ọjà rẹ lórí ẹ̀rọ ìbánisọ̀rọ̀ rẹ o ní lè pè tàbí gba ìpè ṣe àtẹ̀ránṣẹ́ tàbí ṣíṣe àyẹ̀wò iye tó kù nínú àpò ìkówósí rẹ torí náà má jẹ́ kó já ẹ kúrò tẹ *996# báyìí tàbí kí o rìn lọ sí ibùsọ̀ Glo tàbí ọ̀dọ̀ àwọn aṣojú tí ń ṣe ìforúkọsílẹ̀ síìmù tí ó bá súnmọ́ ọ láti so NIN rẹ pọ̀ mọ́ ìlà Glo rẹ kí o sì wà digbí lórí ìlà rẹ títí láé tí o bá sì ní NIN kàn lọ sí ọ́fíìsì NIMC nítòsí rẹ láti ṣètò tiẹ̀ rántí ọ̀fẹ́ ní ìforúkọsílẹ̀ síìmù.
Unlimited.
All right, we're back. Glad to know you are still there. It's your turn. 080550985. That's the number to call.
Hello, good morning, Mr. Tola.
Good morning, Mr.
Good morning
John.
to you, sir.
Good morning.
John calling from Ilorin.
Good to have you, Mr. John.
The Nigerian army, the last I checked, Kaduna used to be, if there is any state called state of the Nigerian army, it is. Now, they were there when the children were kidnapped. Logistic problem or whatever problem it is, nobody knows the whereabouts of the children. Another 78 or 87 were kidnapped again. If President Tinubu knew that the security agencies will not be able to get back those children, I am advising him to pay the ransom. But he should be rest assured that that ransom is going into the Western black market to get more ammunition to face the Nigerian state. He has an option. We need those children back. The military should do the needful instead of flexing muscles in the southeast and south-south. Now I want to believe, I am not so sure, it's my opinion, that a carnage is going on at Okwama. The reason I'm saying this is that you did not allow journalists in to that village or town. The governor also goes with the military. They never allowed a single journalist. Even in Gaza, journalists still do their jobs. So why they did not allow journalists? Just because they are perpetrating evil. We all condemn what happened to them. But you don't kill people. I believe carnage is going on in that community. Tinubu should call them to order. Let them go and use those ammunition to rescue our children. Or Tinubu should pay the ransom. Like Gumi said, he should go and pay so that our children will come back. But he should be rest assured that once he pays, the American black market, the intention of that black market to supply terrorists that is not affecting their own country. So they are going to pay for arms and face the Nigerian state squarely. I wish them the best of luck. Good morning.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Well, the army said they've arrested some suspects in connection with the Okwama killing. So if they knew that they were going to find them suspects, why did they descend on the entire community in the first place?
Tola, those who murder sleep shall not sleep. That's it.
It was
in
not,
as much as we are not justifying.
It was not the entire community that murdered sleep.
I know.
So, that murdered sleep. So why did they launch a raid on the entire community?
That is the overbearing and the excesses, overbearing tendencies and excesses that is being exhibited sometimes. And that belief that when you have the rifle and the uniform on, you have absolute powers and license to terminate lives. It's unfortunate. That's highly unprofessional. That will change, I hope, in the future. And if there is political will to change that, the narrative could change now. I haven't said that. No government will just ignore killing of officers in that manner in Okwama. But my question is that, when you go around, you see military zone. What do you see next? You see keep off. Maybe do well to call us back. 085-500-9850. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning. I just from Ologun.
Good to have you, sir.
Kano, maybe just realizing that after God in that government, we were all living when he was directing the destruction of Lagos. We were all living when he was flexing muscle with the federal government. So maybe he has been broken now. He's trying to plead for his own release. Let him carry his own course.
Your name? All right. 0805-500-9850. Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning. 0805-500-9850. 0805-500-9850.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
I am Adepa Dulanko speaking from Shaki Ogoroke.
Good to have you, sir.
It's until when we have a constitution backing like that of Korea, Japan, China, that ban corruption, that we can kill corruption in Nigeria. Or else corruption will kill both of us. Thank you.
Thank you.
0805-500-9850. 0805-500-9850.
Hello.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Ojo Michael, calling from Olomikino.
It's called you, Mr. Ojo Michael.
If Governor Adeleke of Osun State want to change Osun logo, they are bad in that.